Get your stinking rat out. It's late night large.
Hello everyone. Good evening again. Welcome to Lockdown Large Extra Time. A special Lockdown Large Extra Time because me and Mike are, well, we've got our game heads on. We've got Euros fever, haven't we, Mike?
It's coming home!
Yes, Mike. We got Euros fever like everyone. It's finally began. Euro 2020 played the year after. We were all looking forward to 3 and a bit weeks of non-stop football action. Hopefully a lot of good talking points, etc., etc. And yeah, basically, Lockdown Large Extra Time, we'll be doing basically our next 4, I think, episodes will just be, our Euros roundup analyses from the week's action. At the time of recording, we've just had the first weekend of the Euros. England's first match, Wales' first match, Scotland's first match. So lots to digest and talk about. And we'll still give ourselves a time limit because we don't want to go on forever. We know you like these things to be punchy. So without further ado, we'll get the clock started for 20 minutes. Okay, and here we go. So, Mike, I think what our loyal viewers are most looking forward to the analysis of is that the opening game with that little miniature Volkswagen car that drove the football over to the centre circle. What did you think of that?
What was fucking going on? I was like, what the fuck is that? It's a car. And it was like, they put the ball in the car and the car is like, I get it.
My eyes lit up when I saw that. I was like, I'm a grown adult and I fucking love it. As a kid, you must have been like, oh, I want one of those cars. And it turns out that when I can't remember whether I think people were tweeting about it or something. I'm not on Twitter, but I read it in a newspaper article. People were commenting on it. It was really popular, apparently. And it turns out that it's because Volkswagen are a major supplier and partner of Euro 2020. So they got that. I think my favourite part of it was, first of all, that someone designed a remote control car that was just big enough to fit a football in. Because obviously normally they're a lot smaller than that. But it was big enough to fit a football in. And then the fact that you've presumably got someone on the side of the pitch, just like going, making sure like not to hit anyone on the way. And then once the ball had been delivered, I just thought, please let the remote control guy just go renegade and just start smashing it into like the players' ankles and stuff. Sadly, my prayers weren't answered, and he was exceptionally good, or she, exceptionally good at guiding it off the pitch with no issues. But that was a lot of fun. I think that was one of the best opening sort of ways to open European Championships that I've seen. Just really funny.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it was all right. I mean, it's a gimmick. I was a bit like, fuck.
I'm sure you prefer Mike Large to just drive on pissed at the wheel of a Volkswagen. Just like,
see, would that not be more entertaining?
No, I guess not. Yeah, just Mike does a donut, churns up the middle of the centre circle. The referee's like, "The hell are you doing, mate?" And you just wind down the window and go, "Brought the ball, ain't I?"
Do you want the fucking ball or not?
Yeah, I could drive away. I could fucking take it home.
Okay. It's my ball and you're not having it.
Oh, that would be funny. And then just the players just like chasing you off the pitch, banging on the windows. Anyway,
let them. I'll run them over.
Yeah. So yeah, sorry we spent so long talking about that, but that was for the ages, an opener for the ages, that little gimmick. So well done, Volkswagen. That was really, really well received. Anyway, Mike, so we had the first game. So Italy, Turkey. What were your thoughts there? Because the biggest thing for me was, well, other than the Turks were very disappointing, was Italy. Wow, it was not what you expected at all. Completely opposite style to how you normally see Italy. Obviously, we know almost no matter how many star players they have, it's Catenaccio every single time. They're nicking a goal and then they're happy to just smother the game. It's just defend, defend. We love defending. This is what the Italians do. And yet Roberto Mancini, who's not renowned for being a particularly forward-thinking coach, he's turned them into like this high-pressing, dynamic, attacking outfit. I don't know. You was impressed as me with how they were.
Yeah, no, I was very impressed with them, and yeah, and the pressing was good, and they looked fit, and ready to kind of. I think sometimes that's the problem, isn't it? Like if you've got everyone firing, you can have great players within your team, but if they're not quite fit or they're not singing all from the same hymn sheet, it doesn't come together, does it? But it very much did for them, and I don't know how much. I think, to be honest, it was a little bit of Turkey being. I mean, how much did we really expect from Turkey? But probably they were a little bit disappointing as well. Not taking anything away from the Italians, because I thought they were great. But important to note, it probably, they'd have found it tougher against tougher opposition. Do you know what I mean? That they wouldn't have had.
Right.
That if they wouldn't have had so much of the ball, they would have got tired quicker. They wouldn't have looked as good, but they definitely looked impressive. They looked organised. They looked well drilled. Yeah, good performance.
Yeah. I think you're right about Turkey. I mean, Turkey haven't got a great coach the way that they used to. Particularly with say someone like Fatih Terim. That I'm not sure they've got the high level coach that they need. But you're right. I got the impression of the Turks that they seemed a bit bewildered and they sat back really deep pretty early in the game, which was always going to be a killer because unless you are Greece 2004 and you're literally set up to man the barricades in front of your, inside your own half, you sit, you move across, you don't let anything through. If you're not set up to do that, which presumably Turkey weren't, then the second that you're forced right back and then you decide it's going to take too much energy to put together a move to get out of our half, you're just going to be worn down and they're inevitably going to break through eventually. And then it's just a matter of how many goals. So, yeah. Okay, so...
I think as far as opening games go,
yeah,
it was all right. It was quite a good opening game, I think.
Yeah, fair play to Mancini, looking as stylish as ever and miserable as ever. So, after that opening game, we had a very unusual second day in a lot of ways. We had some decent games, but I mean, obviously the thing I would have expected everyone to know we talk about, let's take a little while, Mike, because obviously it hasn't been talked about a lot that Finland actually finally, in their very first game of the Euros, got a win, which was, I think, highly unexpected. But when we look at the circumstances of the game, you can understand why they maybe aren't talking about the results so much. First of all, Mike, I mean, did you watch the game? Because I've already told you that, sadly, due to being unavailable, I wasn't able to catch any of the live games on the Saturday.
Yeah, I mean, if you were listening, I already told you that that's the first game I missed.
It was for the viewers, okay?
I was no. So obviously, I mean, should we cover Saturday in chronological order? Does that make sense?
Yeah, we can touch on that. Go on.
I think it does.
Go on.
So obviously, the first game was the Wales game, wasn't it?
Yes. What was your how do you think they did?
I mean, we can gloss over that one quite quickly, I think.
It wasn't great, was it? Did you think?
I think they were lucky to get a draw, to be honest.
Yeah, I was about to say I'm quite similar. I think they kind of got away with one. I think they'll probably be pretty pleased at getting a draw out of that. The Swiss will probably be kicking themselves. But yeah, no, I'm kind of
Swiss should be kicking themselves, yeah.
But it's like I said, any Wales fans who are like, "Oh, great, we're not going to be anything like as good as 2016." Let me remind you, there's another team that had a very disappointing draw with Switzerland in their opening Euros match a few years back, and we didn't do badly. So there you go. And the second game, Mike, was the game we're about to refer to.
So yeah, neither of us actually watched this game, and I think both of us are probably glad.
Yeah. So what I was saying to Mike before the game, yeah, I got a text about it, and I was like, oh no, I haven't managed to watch it. I'll catch up with it. Blah 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 blah. Yeah, I'm really glad I didn't watch it. Firstly, because I don't really think it was a particularly good game anyway. Secondly, because obviously, I mean, let's go straight into it. So we all know that Christian Eriksen had a really serious medical emergency. Basically, seemed like he had a cardiac arrest during the game. And it's one of those things I just wanted to say, Mike, because I was reading some comments threads and stuff about this on the highlights, because there's been people talking about basically the biggest controversy about this whole thing is the decision of UEFA to continue the footage, very bizarre footage, when it was very clear to anyone relatively quickly that Christian Eriksen was not just injured, he was in serious trouble. The decision of UEFA to order their cameramen to continue pointing the camera at what effectively was a dying man being given immediate emergency resuscitation. Now, somebody wrote an article about this, Mike, and I don't know if you agree. There's two contrasting things in the human psyche. So number one is most people have this insatiable curiosity. If somebody tells us we shouldn't see something, or that something really unusual or dark has happened, immediate reaction, we want to see it. You've only got to see when you're driving past a horrible car crash, everyone rubbernecking. But then there's also this counterbalance in the head, which is like the moral conscience part of it. And what I wanted to say was, I have to admit, I wanted to see the incident. I didn't want to see the aftermath of the incident, but I wanted to see the incident because I wanted to understand exactly like what the context was. So I managed to catch it, like the moment when he goes down. And first thing I thought was, I've seen that look in someone's eyes before. That's glazed. That's like scrambled. He's out. He's completely out. And I was like, wow, that was as serious as it looked. The second thing is, no matter how much you might think, oh yeah, well, I might want to see the medical staff doing their thing. The thing is, it's more important for someone to have dignity. Like, you wouldn't have a crowd of people at your hospital bed when you're having palliative care, because it's a very private, personal thing. Now, it's amazing that Christian Eriksen is alive again. Brilliant news. Everyone is really happy, and the fact he's even talking and everything, brilliant. At the time, nobody knew that. So the fact that we were treated, not us luckily, but some people, particularly kids, were treated to extended footage. And I mean, I know the BBC's got a lot of criticism as well, because for some reason they decided not to cut back to the studio until way after they should have. What was your opinion anyway, Mike?
Yeah, you're right. People do have, and even I've seen a lot of people, know a lot of people that have slagged off the BBC or UEFA and said, "Oh, you shouldn't have shown it." Blah blah blah. They are, every one of them. Using your example, every one of them would have a look at an accident on a motorway or whatever, and have a look over and see what's going on. Every fucking one of them. So, but that being said, obviously, you don't. What you wouldn't expect is someone to start filming it and put it on TV. That's a little bit different. So no, wrong. I think wrong. That pan to his crying wife.
I was about to say
showing his crying wife. What? We don't need to see that.
to me, do you know what it struck me of, Mike? It was like they thought they were filming a movie. Like that's the
Yeah.
kind of thing you do in a movie.
Yeah, I just it. No, for me, someone's fucking head needs to roll for that. But
Oh, you know, I'm in complete agreement. I think a slap on the wrist is not really sufficient. Like the thing that pisses me off, Mike, and I'm sure other people have made this point already. They don't show streakers. They won't show streakers. They refuse to show streakers.
that
Male
pisses you off, does it? Fucking perv.
Mike, you're talking contextually, you bloody puffin. Contextually, they won't show streakers, but they're happy to show a man in potentially in his death throes. This was my argument. Oh no, the children can't see any naked bodies. And I know the reason they give is, well, if we put them on camera, it will just encourage more streakers. If that's the case, again, why are you showing a human being who's potentially dying? Somebody told me. So
Well, they're not going to encourage cardiac arrest by doing that, are they?
No, I didn't mean that it was the same context. I'm just saying, Mike, the editorial choices of, oh no, we can't show a naked person, to, oh well, no, dying person. There's a good public interest in that. Somebody told me. Sorry, Mike. One more thing on this before I let rip.
Grow on.
Somebody commented, apparently, this is how bad it got. Somebody commented that despite the fact that the Danish players had, in great solidarity, had made a circle around the incident to prevent people seeing it clearly, apparently you could still clearly see through their forest of legs what was happening. And somebody said that you could actually see his legs jerking as he was defibrillated. So that's how serious it got. Anyway, sorry, back to you.
Yeah. So yeah, basically disgusting. To be honest, it's disgusting that they kept filming. And don't get me wrong, I'm no different to anyone else. I'll probably have a little look on the motorway as well if there's a crash and think it's human nature.
It is
to be inquisitive, to want to see what's going on, even if you think it's not. You're not going to probably like what you see. You probably still look anyway. You know, interestingly, all these people that are complaining, oh my God, why didn't the BBC cut back? Or why were you filming it still? You didn't turn your TV off, did you?
Very
true. So you carried on watching. So, you know, it's...
Maybe me and Mike, for once, have the moral authority here because neither of us actually watched the footage.
Yeah, yeah. No one was holding, had fucking matchsticks in your eyes and holding a gun to your head saying, don't change the fucking channel. You can watch this. You know, at any point, turn it off. Not condoning what they did there. It's disgusting. Like I said, someone's head needs to roll. BBC should have cut back sooner. Correct. I mean, panning to fucking poor fucking his wife. No, fucking. That's just.
I mean,
what for?
Do you think
Why do we need to see her reaction?
How do you think he'll feel as well? Because presumably that footage is around. Imagine Christian Eriksen, like he's come round and then he sees that footage. It's just like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I mean, he'll probably. I mean, I can't imagine he'll actually be that bothered. He'll probably just be happy that it didn't end worse. That'd be his primary concern. Like, oh, okay, fine. It's not.
Probably his family will be more probably concerned about that.
Probably, yeah. But yeah, it's not nice. But the main thing is that people reacted quickly. You know, he was saved, if you like, and then I guess that, you know, any care he's received afterwards, I guess it would be top notch anyway.
Did you think...
obviously, you know, it's just good news that's coming out of that kind of the Danish camp. So, you know, he's making jokes as well. Apparently, he was saying to teammates like, "Right, I'm ready to play again." But so, you know, but what he has every right. You know, you have to.
It's great. It's brilliant. It's amazing to, you know, it's the only thing that's going to put a smile on the Danish people's faces, and that is hearing something like that. But you know, by the way, little thing to be proud of for us Brits as well. the referee was it Anthony Taylor?
Yeah.
I think Anthony Taylor. Top, you talk about someone having like the biggest pressure on their shoulders and the decision making they do in that high pressure situation. To do what he did, basically within a snap of the fingers, he sees it, he's like, right, we need to sort this, get the medics on. I mean, okay, you can argue a lot of officials would have done, but fair play to Anthony Taylor. He didn't bottle it. He knew exactly what needed to be done. And
yeah,
it has to be said that what happened with Christian Eriksen, it's incredibly lucky he was actually playing football, because it's like they say, there's a window of about 2 minutes, they say. If someone has a cardiac arrest, there's about 2-minute window where you need to immediately apply CPR and whatever to keep the blood flowing until the emergency defibrillator or whatever it is. So amazing that coincidentally happened, and all the medical expertise and whatever were there. Anthony Taylor was spot on, etc., etc. So it was a miracle, really, in a way. He's still here. So
yeah.
Brilliant news.
You can argue, obviously, we don't know, because they do get tested all the time now, especially after Fabrice Muamba. Like, there's lots of testing that's going on. Apparently, his last kind of tests on his heart and whatever showed like perfectly fit, healthy, absolutely what they'd expect from a professional athlete, no problems. So we don't know what has definitely caused it.
Yeah.
You could argue, though, although you could say he's lucky that where he was and that all eyes were on it in a way, because people noticed it straight away. I think they were saying the ref had, within 5 seconds, he had like medical team get on the pitch, like, so lucky in a way, but then also did the football induce, if he was sat at home with his feet up, would that have happened? So,
although, looking at it another way, by the way, I'm not saying at all this is how I see it, I'm just giving devil's advocate, but looking at it another way, you could argue that he was doing what he loved, as opposed to, like you say, innocuously in a shopping centre or something. Anyway, we're glad he's here. Well done, Christian Eriksen. We hope to see you at least punting or whatever. I'm not sure if he'll play again. It's just good that he's pulled through. Okay, so Mike, just quickly, one more thing about that game. Do you think it was fair that UEFA said to Danish players, right, decision to make, you can either play the rest of the game now or tomorrow at noon? Do you think that was a fair choice, given like the shock factor of what they'd just gone through?
What were the other options?
Yeah, I mean, I know they've got limited options.
I think it's fair enough. The main thing is they gave them the option, and there was probably some discussion with Finland as well. And
to be fair to them, I think they said if Christian Eriksen is alert and awake, we'll finish.
Yeah, so that's the impression I got, is because they got the news that okay, he's stable, he's alert, he's awake. Then yes, we'll finish it now, and it was their choice to finish it.
Yeah.
I mean, like I say, I didn't see the game. My understanding was they were very much on top until the incident, and then obviously
that's the impression.
They didn't finish that way, completely understandably. But so I mean, that was that.
It's quite classy as well. Quite classy as well to see both sets of fans chanting his name as well.
I think one was shouting Christian and then Eriksen. Yeah. So, fair play. Those sorts of horrible things, they do kind of unify people in a way. As horrible as they are, puts things into perspective for people, doesn't it? So, and then everyone was Danish for that bit of time, weren't they? Really, while we were hearing about it, and then shit, is he all right? And
fair play. It was it was great spirit of the Euros, really. So then obviously was the Belgium match, and
Yeah.
the Lukaku show.
Which, yeah. Well, I did see that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I actually have a little like a little dream team going on.
Oh, me
little
too.
Euro.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, Lukaku's in there, captained him, didn't I? Hey.
Oh, you sod. Yeah.
Now then. So So that was.
Me.
But that was. Sorry.
Sorry, is it just me? I was just going to say, like Russia. Russia kind of played a bit like we expected them to play in 2018, but they obviously, with home advantage, they like played out their skins. This was more the Russia I expected, like just not very.
Yeah, they did not cover themselves in glory. You could say a bit like Turkey. You think, well, you are the underdogs. Let's not beat around the bush, but wasn't great. But again, not taking anything away from Belgium, because they played well. And let's not forget, they played well without Eden Hazard. Well, he played for 20 minutes, didn't he? Without Kevin De Bruyne. Without Witsel. Huh?
Without Fellaini?
Without Marouane Fellaini.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm surprised they bothered to show up.
I know, I mean,
Fellaini.
Their talisman, bloody hell.
But the three that I mentioned, Witsel, he's been literally their anchor in midfield for years now. Yeah. Kevin De Bruyne is probably one of the best. Well, he is one of the best players on the planet. Arguably the best player in their team, which is star-studded. Yeah. And Eden Hazard would also lay claim to that probably, if he wasn't like out of form and probably a little bit heavy at the moment. But without their two best players and a stalwart of their midfield, who is also a decent player, let's not take anything away from him, and they still managed to produce that. So, as these players come back in, maybe Hazard gets a little fitter or whatever, perhaps they've got him on some sort of bit more of an intense training thing, come on, you fat shit, get fit, or whatever it is, they could be a real fucking force to be reckoned with.
I think so. What was it? The first goal. The first goal made me laugh because what was it? Lukaku was miles offside, but then it was because the Russian defender did that clownish attempt at clearing, managed to put it through his own legs, which left Lukaku clean through one-on-one. So no, Belgium looking like a real force as we expected them to. So what was the next game, Mike?
Well, that was obviously that Saturday sorted.
Yep.
And the next game, we all know what the next game was.
Oh, of course, yeah. It was the coming home game. So, what did you think, Mike? Other than the immediate takeaways of bloody hell, Calvin Phillips was man of the match. Raheem Sterling, like most people, I was just like, I don't really understand how he's still a guaranteed start. And then he finally scores. Fair play. Well done. You shut us up. What else did you take from it?
Right. So, where do I start?
Make it brief, Mike.
Fucking T-Rex arms in goal. Fair enough, whatever. I'd have gone with Henderson. Pickford, fine. Do you know what? Fine. I thought Mings and Stones at centre halves were the obvious choice.
You had to, yeah.
I do think that of all the players that were probably maybe questionable selections, bar maybe one, which I'll come to, Mings would probably have the most pressure on him to go, actually, mate, I'm probably the luckiest person to be on this pitch right now.
Yeah.
And that probably heaps a bit of pressure on. But you know what? I thought he was decent.
He was.
He was probably, he was probably the pick of the centre halves. Not knocking Stones, but they had masses and masses of. They weren't under masses and masses of pressure or anything like that. But I thought Mings acquitted himself very well. Solid performance. Mm-hmm. Happily playing in the next game and go from there. Walker at right back, I don't think he necessarily did himself any favours. I don't think he was bad. He was okay. there were times where I saw him and I thought, fucking, will you run? You're in that team effectively because you're fucking quick.
Runner,
and you weren't running at people. Fucking run at them. Get your head down and go, you bastard. But, yeah, he was okay.
Keeping his powder dry.
Like Trippier at left back, I think he was okay. I think we saw a couple of examples where you thought, oh, if only there was someone left-footed there to whip that in.
Yeah, like best performing left back in the Premier League, maybe.
Yeah. So I mean, let's be honest. What the fuck was that? And I put fucking Shaw, and I know it was risky, but I thought it was risky because he might start Chilwell. I had Shaw in my fucking team as well, and the bastard didn't choose either of them. I've been mugged off for Kieran Trippier at left back.
The only thing I could think of, Mike, was that anything to do with set pieces? Did he just?
Well, he said, didn't he? He was questioned about it, and Gareth come out and he said it was because of his experience or whatever. Now, for me, there's a couple of takeaways from that decision. Is he experienced? Yes. I don't think Shaw is particularly inexperienced. Chilwell slightly more so on the international stage, but fair enough. I think you're right. I think it was for set pieces, but we don't really have a free kick taker starting, other than Trippier. Yeah, Mason Mount, and Mason Mount took the second one, didn't he? I think we had a couple of dangerous free kicks. Trippier took the first one, Mount took the second one.
Yeah.
I mean, so Kieran Trippier started to take one free kick, basically. But don't get me wrong, he defended well enough. He was okay. He didn't have a bad game. I don't think he played badly. I think he was fine. Do I think that Shaw or Chilwell would have done any worse? No. They could have done better. And the other thing I'll say to that is, if you are Luke Shaw, you're in the form of arguably your life, but certainly of the last few years. The only other time he maybe was in better form was before he got that horrible leg break.
Yeah.
You literally you stand out left back in probably the world, certainly in the Premier League this season. And Chilwell, in fairness, it's not like he's in bad form either, is it? He's a good player and he's in good form. Now, if you're those two players, Chilwell didn't even make the fucking squad. Now, if you're the 23, if you're those two players now, what does that do for your confidence?
Yeah.
You're thinking, I'm a left back. I'm in the best form, or certainly very good form at least. I'm playing well. I'm a left back. I'm a big player. I play for big teams. I'm used to big matches. It's not like I'm uncapped. And they're playing a right back there instead of either of us. So if we do need to call on them now, where their confidence level is going to be at?
Well, yeah, no, I completely. I mean, I can almost see what Southgate. If Southgate said that, I can almost see that what he was thinking was that he didn't want Luke Shaw maybe being a bit overeager, leaving Tyrone Mings exposed because Tyrone Mings is inexperienced. Presumably, if he has an inexperienced left-sided centre back, he wants. I mean, this is assuming that Tyrone Mings played on the left side of the centre backs. Is that right?
Huh?
Tyrone Mings was on the left side of centre half, was he, or was he on the right side? Because it only really makes sense if he's on the left side, because on the right side you've got Kyle Walker. Kyle Walker is experienced.
Yeah, I think he was the left side.
Yeah, so I can kind of get it. The thing is, I'm going to give him a pass this time because he's got us the result. And you cannot argue with that. So Southgate deserves. But to me, against Scotland, who, let's face it, are an easier team than Croatia. I'm not saying they're easy, but they are easier than Croatia on paper. I know they're going to raise their game. But you have to play Luke Shaw, surely, against Scotland to give yourself some attacking impetus down the left-hand side.
Well, the problem, and it is the main issue here, the main issue is I don't know what to do with my fucking team now.
Well,
do I take Shaw out? He's already cost me fucking points, Gareth, you wanker.
I'm gonna have to check.
Do I
my
take
fantasy
Shaw out for
team,
match day
actually.
2? What's going on?
Yeah, I'm gonna
I
have
don't
to
know what to do.
have to check mine. You see, Gareth, I was prepared to give you the benefit of the doubt, but you messed up Mike's fantasy team, so get out. You're sacked.
You're out of line. Southgate
Yeah.
out.
So Foden,
Go on.
Foden hitting the post, very good.
Well,
Calvin Phillips. I mean, surely Calvin Phillips man of the match, isn't he?
well, look. If we move on to the midfield, then right, and we had Rice and Phillips, and I think people were saying, well, it can be Rice or Phillips, won't it? Because it'd be Henderson, and then maybe be one of the others, and then there'd be an attacking. And I was at first I was sceptical. I thought, why are we having two people? Why are we doing we've got all this attacking talent. Get them all on the fucking pitch and go. Fucking go at them. Why are you fucking bringing them if not to, but that being said, I think Rice was superb, and I think people actually he will not get as many plaudits as he should do because Calvin Phillips was so good. But Rice was superb. He was unselfish. He sat there. Both for their clubs have that sit-in anchor role, break up play, pass it on, break up play, pass it on. Rice kind of filled that role, and Phillips was kind of given a bit more license. Go and fucking get out, get up and down, get left and right, get up and down.
Yeah.
Run at people, and I didn't know what to expect, and this would be much easier for me to say if he didn't play for Leeds, but I think he was fucking great. I think he was great.
Really?
I do think he was lucky to escape some bookings on occasion. Maybe that was a bit over eagerness, a bit petulance, but I like it. I like a foul. Fucking go on, do him. But if you can get away with it, great. Fair play. I just worry will it cost us in bigger games later on in the tournament if he's doing that. But
this is where you do think Southgate, he does seem to make big decisions that generally pay off. So you do think maybe he'll see it coming if he thinks Calvin Phillips is a bit too much on the edge in a game where we can't afford indiscipline. I don't know.
Yeah, well, maybe he's thinking get his kind of energy through the group stages, and hopefully Henderson will be fit for when
you never know. Yeah,
for the later. Maybe that's what his thought process is. And do you know what? Fair enough. Utilise the squad. Everyone's got a role to play. That's fine. But I think he did fantastically well. I think he was easily man of the match. I thought that giving Sterling man of the match was a fucking joke. UEFA or star of the match, as they call it now. Fuck off. Man of the match to Sterling. I thought it was fucking outrageous.
I didn't see it.
Yeah. No, fucking outrageous.
They've watched a completely different match.
A dog shit decision, but whatever. I thought Rice, very, very good. Calvin Phillips, best player on the pitch.
Yeah.
In terms of what he gave, what he brought to the game, what he brought to his team. And then you look at the next line.
Yeah.
Which is, and that was the one where we were all thinking. I don't know about you, but everyone was thinking, okay, who fucking starts here? This is the real unknown. What's he going to do? Who's he going to play where? And Sterling starting on the left. Now, some people have been disappointed with that. I wasn't over the moon with it. But he was the most capped player on the pitch for England. So he has experience. Gareth trusts him. Generally, he does perform when Gareth puts his trust in him.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm still not sure. Mount, I thought he had to start, and he did in the middle, and I'm glad that he did. I think he acquitted himself very well.
He's decent.
I think he played very well. I do think there's still even more to come from him, but do you know what? I thought, yeah, he's at least shown why he's there. And then Foden. Go on. Sorry, yeah, go on.
No, I was just going to say, I don't know if you agree with me here. The thing that I don't get with Sterling, right, is he's really an unusual player because he's got this amazing pace and he dribbles with the ball at great pace. It just seems like he never knows what he wants to do. Do you know what I mean with the ball? So what he'll do is he'll streak 5 yards clear of his man, unbelievable pace and dribbling, and then he'll get into the box and he'll then cut back and look at the goal like, what am I going to do? I don't know if you noticed that, but he kind of kills his advantage that he's got where he's 5 yards ahead of someone. It baffles me because I just think Sterling could be easily top scorer in the tournament if he makes his mind up when he's on the run, where he's glancing at the goal already and he thinks, right, I'm going to have a crack here, or I'm going to slide it across goal. It just seems he only seems to make his mind up when he's actually in the box, and then he usually has to stop and cut back. But I don't know, I'm being overly critical.
No, I don't think you're being overly critical because I noticed that as well. And so many times where he fucking try and cut back was some shit, stupid decision making. It's almost like he's either too quick for his brain, so he gets in these positions and his brain hasn't processed yet. Hang on, what's the next step then? Oh fuck. Or I don't know, but yeah, I look. Did he have a bad game? No. Would anyone be calling, fucking get him off? Fucking, he's useless. I mean, a couple of times when he cut back stupidly, I did think that. I thought, where's fucking Grealish? Get that cunt on. But
I think we all did. I think I texted a mate of mine like, Grealish on for Sterling? I think we both agreed. It was like a minute later he scored. Sterling thing, I have to admit, I remember he got the ball in the box, and whereas I would imagine someone like Harry Kane would be on the half turn, ready to either sweep it in first time or kind of do a sort of 1-2 movement. But the fact that Sterling kind of stops it dead, and then it's like, oh shit, because the defender's coming in to clatter him and just kind of shovels it in as he's being hacked up in the air. Got the job done in the end, I guess. Bless you.
Indeed.
Harry Kane?
Bear with. We just Sterling, Mount, Foden. Now, Foden, love it. Love the Gaza. Love your work, son. But no, Foden for me, and I think for a lot of other people, like Mount, was another one where you thought, he's got to fucking be in there. He's got to be in there somewhere. He's a cracking player. So much ability, so much potential.
It's the direct running as well, though, isn't it? It's the way he runs with the ball at defenders.
Yeah, not a lot of people do that properly anymore. Right. I mean, him and Grealish, I would say, are the probably the best that we've got for doing that.
Yeah.
Rashford will run down the side of them. Sterling kind of will, and he's just not as technically good, I don't think, but a bit quicker, so it kind of balances out. But I think, I think it was great to see him start. I think he showed us glimpses of why he started hitting the post. If it didn't take that little nick off the defender's boot, does the keeper have it covered? Maybe, maybe not. Certainly, it was a good effort. And yeah, he showed glimpses and of why he's there. Justified his selection, I thought. In fact, I would say Sterling wasn't great. He was okay, though. He was okay. He did make some good runs. Let's not take it away from him. He did make some good runs. His movement was all right. He did play okay. There were some times we wanted to grab him and just fucking shake him. You silly twat, what are you doing? But that's Sterling. And at the end of the day, whether he nearly fucked it up or not, he got the goal. And he got us 3 points. So, fair play. Fair play to Sterling. I'd still start Grealish in the next game, but there you go. Especially against the Scots, who were going to sit and go, fucking come on then, come at us. They're going to sit, they're being more defensive, compact lines, and Foden, Grealish. That's what we need them to unlock those doors. because there's not going to be space to run in behind because they're not going to give you space.
Yeah.
So for me, Grealish starts in the next game. Not knocking Sterling. I did want to slap him about a couple of times, but he did well, and he scored a goal. But still, Grealish for me in the next one.
Let's be honest. Let's be honest, though, Mike. He's not going to drop Raheem Sterling after he's just scored a winning goal.
No, I don't think he will. But for me, yeah. But we know that Gareth has got a decent set of cojones on him. He will make decisions that people think not popular, or can you really do that? Can you really drop him now, or can or should you really start him there? Should you really start Trippier at left back when you've got two perfectly good actual left backs that are in really good form? I'm not going to put one of them in the squad even. Okay, but what do we know? But Gareth has done stranger things.
He has,
and I'm not knocking him at all. I'm not knocking him.
No.
But what I'm saying is, I agree with you. I don't think he will drop Sterling now. And Sterling, maybe quite rightly, we're going on. I fucking scored in the last game. But I know if it was me, I'd be going, I fucking scored in the last game. You can't fucking drop me now. But he can, and he might, and I hope he does. I don't think he will, but I hope he does. Because for me, Grealish is the obvious choice against the Scots. But there we go. And so while I say Sterling was good, not great, but good, and obviously got us 3 points, so fair play to him. One person I wasn't really impressed with was Harry Kane.
Yeah, same. About the only thing I thought that Harry Kane did very well was continuing trying to buy fouls. That was about it. I didn't really.
Yeah, well, that's Kane all over, isn't it? Like
he is.
He loves it.
It disappoints me a bit sometimes because I just think Harry, this is your chance to line yourself up alongside Lewandowski and Haaland in the real. I mean, he's trying to leave Tottenham, so he's got to put himself in the shop window. And you've got to do. I mean, we've seen him for Spurs. He comes deep, he gets the ball, he sprays it around, he opens up play. He can be a playmaker as much as he is a striker, but we didn't see that. We didn't really see that at all. What we saw him do, like you say, is put his body in the way and then throw himself to the ground a few times. That was about it.
Yeah, I mean, maybe that's slightly harsh, but I agree in principle. What you're saying is that
I'm not saying to drop him. I think he's still our most dangerous centre forward, but
yeah, you don't drop him. He did look tired though. For me, there were times where you thought we should probably have someone in that area, or we should have someone making this run, and you think, well, who's going to do that? Should be Harry Kane. He's not doing it though, is he? Or he's not there, is he? And I get he does drop deep. We see him week in, week out doing it, and he dropped deep. And I just think, you know what? Actually, you've got players behind you, more so for England than you do for your country, that will do that and that can do that. Phil Foden, Mason Mount, Phillips in this game. They don't really need you dropping in to do that, mate. So,
although to be fair, it's good to mix it up, isn't it? So if Harry Kane pulls out of the box, you've got Phil Foden and whatever to overlap, and so it confuses defenders that way as well.
You're right, and it is good, and it does help the kind of it asks different questions of the defence, and I think that's something that really, hang on, where the fuck's he going? Do I go with him? Do I pass him on? What's going on here? Is anyone else sneaking in around the back while I'm watching this cunt? But I don't know. It can be effective. We've seen it being effective. He didn't do it effectively though. That's the problem. It's not so much with the way he likes to play that I had the issue. It's that's fine, but he didn't deliver to the same level doing what you maybe would expect, playing the way he likes to play. And if that's not happening, then you think, well, just make it easy for yourself. You're the striker, you're the main goal threat. Just just concentrate on doing that then. Because if you're not there, if your game is, but then you're right, because he is asking questions to defender, even if he's not in form. Defender will think he's been a bit quiet today. They can't just leave him. They can't just go, oh, Kane's been a bit quiet for 60 minutes. Let's not bother marking him now. Nah, I won't pass him on. He's been quiet for 60 minutes because he'll punish you. But it's yeah, I don't think he covered himself in glory, to be honest. He looked a bit tired.
Yeah.
To me.
Yeah, could be right.
He looked a bit tired.
Well, anyway.
We know he's not blisteringly quick, but he wasn't really making as many runs as you thought he
wasn't.
would.
No, I agree. He looked a bit sluggish, but who knows? It's the important thing is England have finally got a win in an opening Euros match for the first time in history. So Gareth Southgate, whatever else you say about him, he slays boogeyman. He slayed the penalty shootout knockout fever by winning last year against Colombia, and now he's won the first European opener that we've ever done. So
yeah, so maybe play Trippier left back, play Sterling,
play Harry Kane left back, play Trippier up front.
Yeah, fuck it, whatever, Gareth. But you know, I do think, and I did see one article earlier. Actually, I was going to click on it to read it, but I didn't get a chance. And the headline was, "Did England win because of Gareth, or did they win despite Gareth Southgate?" So, and I thought, hang on, where are you really going with this? So I was going to click on it out of interest. It's probably going to be a fucking trash article, and I'll go, who's written this? But it's an interesting line of thought anyway. I think, to be honest, though, I don't really give much credence to that kind of that way of thinking. Certainly not yet. You know, let's not forget what he's done for us.
He's got credit in the bank. He's got credit in the bank. You've got to give him all the time he needs until he starts pulling off like an Iceland result. You know, he's in my good books. Anyway, what matches followed that day that we need to mention?
Well, I think it was Austria next, wasn't it?
Austria against North Macedonia. Yeah, I was quite impressed with the industry of North Macedonia. Initially, early anyway. Yeah. I think particularly first half. But yeah, I mean, Austria just took control pretty much after the break. Because it was another brilliant piece of clownish defending, wasn't it, that gave North Macedonia their goal, where a defender tries to, instead of just like a really easy clearance, he tries to make it really fancy by flicking it around the corner on the outside of his boot, hits his fellow defender almost in the face, and then before you know it, the goalkeeper's been bundled into and Pandev's put in the rebound. But yeah, Austria took a stranglehold. What did you make of Arnautovic's celebration? Did you see that like Ketsbayer style celebration?
I've seen the celebration. Well, I didn't really make anything of it, and to be honest, I didn't watch that game. In fact, after the England game, I didn't watch that game or the Holland
Netherlands
game.
Ukraine.
I didn't watch any of the games after England.
Were you blacked out?
I was just at that point it didn't matter to me. Anything else was irrelevant because it was coming home. So yeah, shit countries, play your games. It doesn't matter. You're playing for second. Coming home.
Okay, well, let me just make my quick commentary then. Yeah, North Macedonia really impressed with their industry because they weren't just clog merchants who hoofed up to the big man. They had some nice, neat, tidy little, really like pressing and thrusting forward in the first half. But I think for whatever reason, you know, there was an impetus change in the second half. Austria remembered that, hang on a minute, we've never won I don't think they haven't won a match at the Euros for I don't know how many years. And they thought, we are not going to cock this up against North Macedonia. Well, sorry, they actually took the lead, didn't they? And then North Macedonia equalised, and then North Macedonia were on top for a period. But yeah, in the second half, they took control. And yeah, just the funniest part was Arnautovic, who came on and and did score the goal that wrapped the game up. And yeah, he had a Ket Spire style celebration. He was absolutely fuming. He was gobbing off. He was like throwing his teammates off. It was really funny. David Alaba, I think it was, ended up like halfway through like his kind of demented like ranting and raving. He actually grabbed him across the face, like forced his face to face David Alaba, like basically telling him to calm down. So I think the only thing I could think of is, you know what Arnautovic is like. He is a bit like loose cannon, very arrogant. And I get the impression that because he wasn't starting, I think he was basically ranting and raving, like basically probably calling the coach every name under the sun for not starting him.
Well, to be honest, why wouldn't he start?
It confused me a little bit, I have to admit.
As much cock as he can be.
They didn't have much of a threat. And when he came on, there was definitely a different dynamic. Whatever you say about him, you know, whether you think he's lazy, whatever, he causes problems for the opposition because he has an ego and he loves throwing his weight around, and you know, a bit Ibrahimovic-y like, although not on the same level, obviously. But so well done, Austria. Netherlands, Ukraine.
Well, Arnautovic was in my fucking dream team as well.
Was he? Oh, well, there you go.
So good job he fucking scored when he came on.
I'm gonna say, yeah. Otherwise, you'd been fuming even more.
Who are these fucking international managers not starting my players then? Right? Who have I got a right to?
You taking names, are you, Mike?
I'm not fucking having it. Out of order. You start
anyway,
my
aside from
fucking
Mike
players.
continually raving about his players not playing, Netherlands Ukraine was potentially the most entertaining game so far. Yeah, what a goofy game that was. I think it was 0-0 at half time. The Dutch, you know, obviously having better players, the Dutch were looking decent. It was good also to see, you know, two legends of previous Euros as the managers, you know, Shevchenko versus De Boer. And you did wonder how Frank De Boer would set up, considering he's been a failure at so many of his managerial jobs. And what we ended up learning was that the Netherlands are very decent going forward, but they can just shit the bed at the back because they went 2-0 up. Ukraine looked like they were just going to be, you know, just killed slowly, strangled out of the game. And then, you know, out of nowhere, the Ukraine grab 2 goals. And at that time, the Netherlands looked like an absolute shambles. And you just thought, oh, well, this is Frank De Boer. But then, you had Denzel Dumfries, who has one of the coolest names at the championship, who was relatively impressive the whole way through the game. He was always getting involved. He's the right wing back. He was always getting involved. He missed a really good chance earlier in the game, but he was bombing forward and always causing problems. And yeah, he arrived to get the winner. So fair play. So the Dutch kicked off with a win. And then obviously today we've had the Scotland game. Mike, did you have a chance to catch the Scotland game, or were you working through that?
I was working through it.
Well, fortunately, working in an office, I managed to catch it, and I felt a bit bad for Scotland. I don't think they were terrible. I think they had some periods of very tidy little moves. McSauce was pretty decent. John McGinn had a few nice touches. Robertson was how you'd expect, threatening down the left. I've got to be honest, I'm not hugely familiar with Scotland's squad, so besides that, I didn't notice too much. Although, as usual, they were quite blunt where it mattered, you know, in and around the box. Didn't take their chances when they came, and they got suckered. So, Czech Republic suckered them on the first goal, scored from a I think it was second phase set piece. Great header, but again, you know, you don't want to concede from a set piece. And yeah, what can you say about the second goal? I mean, it was set up. If you're being ultra critical, it was set up because sorry, I forget which player, but a Scottish player who'd already had a couple of range finders, not terrible ones, but he was about 30 yards out. The ball broke to him on the edge of the box, and he had a player directly in front of him, and he probably should have slid it wide to keep the attack going. Instead, he lined up, tried to smash it in from 30 yards, smashed into the defender. And of course he wasn't to know this, but as soon as it hit the defender, they were straight breaking on a counter. The ball broke around about the halfway line, and before you know it, I'm going to make an idiot of myself now and forget the name of the Czech striker who plays in Germany. So I've completely forgotten who the Czech striker was, but he'd scored the first goal and just launched it from pretty much the halfway line over a stranded goalkeeper. And if you watch it again, the technique on it is absolutely brilliant. Like, it's not a fuck this kind of lean back and let her rip. He really absolutely kills it with a little bit of swerve, just sails into the net. So they, that was it. They killed the game. The Scots were just kind of a little bit desperate after that. The Czechs got pressed back in the last few minutes, but, basically, well done Scotland for being at the tournament, but not sure you're going to be here for too long. And then the game that happened obviously just before we recorded. Did you see that? Which was
No, I was at the gym.
Oh, Mike, what are we doing? We're doing this Euros review and you're not even catching the games.
Well, I've only missed a couple. You thinking of Poland, Slovakia? Did you watch it? Because you've already forgotten it.
Yeah, but I did watch it. And I've got to be honest, it's not looking great for Poland because it seems to me, do you remember at the last World Cup? I think Poland were at the last World Cup, weren't they? I'm not thinking of Euro 2016, but where Lewandowski hardly had a kick of the ball.
Yeah.
Because unfortunately that seems to have happened again. The way that Slovakia is set up is effectively two men on Lewandowski at all times. Don't let him turn with the ball. Don't let him receive it in the box. And it worked a treat because, okay, Poland did get level after obviously falling behind against the run of play. But, Lewandowski wasn't getting a kick. He got marked out of the game. And then Poland ended up getting a man sent off. And there you go, Slovakia sucker punched them. But Slovakia did well because they were really impressive in the first half. They fell away in the second. You thought, oh, here we go, Poland are taking charge now. But then Poland go down to 10 men and Slovakia gradually get their impetus back. So no, I was quite impressed with Slovakia. But yeah, Poland, again, it's looking like another tournament where if you mark Lewandowski out of the game, you're probably going to win.
Okay. Well, that's lovely. Spain are on as we record. Which we are missing to record. So there's you having a dig at me.
Dedication. That's our dedication to the
I think that to be honest, considering your comment you made at the start, like we'll try and keep it short.
Well, I didn't realise we were doing I thought it was an overview rather than a review of every single game. But
well, I mean, yeah, you did an overview of every single game. The only one I went into detail on was the English because let's be honest, it's coming up.
Well, you were the one who said, no, can we do it chronologically? Which made me
that doesn't mean you have to go through every single game and like how each player performed and did Lewandowski have a fucking pokey bum wank before the game or whatever. Do you know what I mean? But right. Yeah.
Well, I hope you enjoyed.
We've been on for long enough. Is the point?
Yeah, I hope you enjoyed our first Euros review. We'll try and make it a little bit more succinct next time. We didn't really know what we'd be doing this time, so next time it will be a lot more of an overview, just the big stories. Anything to add before we go, Mike?
Like, subscribe, share, comment.
Yeah, give us a suggestion as to how you think we should structure these Euros reviews.
The little bell.
The bells. Yeah, ring our bell. Anyway, enjoy the Euros, and we will be back around this time next week to let you know our thoughts on the second week of the Euros.